ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सागना रघुनाथान्वितं संजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सागनललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिकान्त राधाकान्ता नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौरांगी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
Thank you, Nana. Okay, I'll start with the prayers, okay? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Brunda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much again for joining this call. So today we'll start with chapter 7. So we are starting with Bhakti Yoga. So the middle part, what is the middle part? Middle 6 chapters are about Bhakti Yoga. Okay, so before going to the chapter 7, so chapter 7 is entitled as Knowledge of the Absolute. Okay, so before going to the chapter 7, let's do a quick recap of what we learned in chapter 6. So chapter 6, in the first section, we discussed about the importance of mind control. So Krishna told why it is important to control the mind to actually perform any yoga, right? So even if we are performing Bhakti Yoga, if you want to chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, right? You should be focused, right? When you wanted to chant the Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. If there is a distraction, right? Your mind will be dragged away towards that side. So it is important to actually control our mind. So here Krishna explained what is the nature of the mind. We can make our mind as a friend or an enemy. And we discussed about yoga and what is the yoga ladder and how we redefined yoga. And that is what we discussed in the first section. In the second section, we discussed about the stages of Ashtanga Yoga. So what are the stages? We discussed like 8 stages of Ashtanga Yoga there. So Krishna there explained about what are the physical requirements, what are the mental requirements. And this happened 5,000 years ago. And 5,000 years ago, Arjuna actually expresses his inability that this process is very difficult. In this present juncture, in Kali Yuga, it is merely difficult for us to actually perform that Ashtanga Yoga process with the distractions we have in this material world. And the third section is about the destination of unsuccessful yogi. So Krishna Arjuna was asking a question to Krishna. So if someone start the yoga process and if they were not able to complete that, what happens to that particular yogi? Then Krishna said that there are two options. One option is they will take birth in a spiritual family, and the second option is Krishna said that they'll be taking birth in a rich aristocratic family wherein they can continue their spiritual journey and reach the eternal abode. And then in the final section, Arjuna was asking Krishna, this process seemed to be very difficult. Tell me a process which is the best and I will follow that process. Then Krishna told about Bhakti Yoga, and he said like Bhakti Yogi is the topmost. And he told the importance of this Bhakti Yogi, like what, like it gives maximum results and minimum effort is required. And for doing Bhakti Yoga, no qualification is required. Then he also told that it is completely sin-free and Krishna takes control, and one who performs Bhakti Yoga, they actually reach Goloka Vrindavan. Why Krishna takes control? Because we discussed about the analogy of the cat and the monkey, right? Because like a cat holds the kitten, Krishna will hold us and take us to his eternal abode. So now let's start with this chapter. So this chapter, again, for our convenience and ease and understanding so that we can implement in our day-to-day life, it is actually divided into 5 sections. So first section is from the verse 7.1 to 7.3. So Krishna here is saying that this knowledge, Arjuna, O son of Pritha, hear this knowledge from me. Krishna is saying, hear this knowledge. How we have to hear this knowledge? Krishna is explaining. He is saying, hear this knowledge from me. And in the second section, from the verse 4 to 12, we'll discuss about Krishna's energies. What are Krishna's energies? And in the third section, we will discuss about surrendering onto Krishna, like who are the people who actually surrender to Krishna and who are the people who actually reject Krishna, who don't actually come to Krishna. And in the fourth section, from the verse 20 to 25, we are discussing about worshipping Devadas. In spite of knowing all Krishna's energies and everything, there are some people who actually worship Devadas. Why they worship Devadas also, Krishna is talking about in this section. And final section is from delusion to devotion. How a person actually transforms from delusion to devotion. How they actually become determined in Bhakti Yoga. We'll be discussing in the 5th section. So now let's move on to the first verse of this chapter. Who wanted to recite this verse?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Maya Sakta Mana Partha Yogam Yunjan Madashaya Asamshayam Samagram Mamyata Gnasi Sitachruno. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, now hear, O son of Pritha, how by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt.
Very good. So this is a very important verse where Krishna is actually talking, like Krishna is saying, Tachruno, listen to me. I want to know about this knowledge, you have to listen to me. He's saying, Shravanam, Tachruno. Shravanam, how Shravanam is important. See, if you like anyone, right, how you like anyone, how you know about any person, you want to know more about them, right? So for example, there is a new joinee in your class. So if you talk to them and if you get to know more about them only, then you will be interested in them. You'll get a liking towards them, right? Without even talking to them or without knowing about them, you won't have a liking, right? So obviously you have to talk to them. But who can tell about them? So a new joinee joined. Who will actually tell about them? They only have to tell, right? They have to tell, this is my quality. Earlier I used to study in the school. These are the activities I do. I am interested in music, singing. So all those interests they will be talking about, right? Based on that only you will get that liking and you will get to know more about them. You will keep on having interaction with them. So same way what Krishna is saying here is to understand Krishna, to actually do bhakti, to actually do service to Krishna. First we have to know about Krishna. What are his energies? What are his qualities? So we have to know about Krishna. So here Krishna is saying to Arjuna, listen from me. So a person who is actually practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, that is Krishna, with mind attached to me, then in full, without any doubt, without any doubt means knowing that he is the supreme personality of Godhead. If a person engages in such a devotion onto him, then Krishna is saying that without any doubt, this person will actually reach his abode. Okay, we'll see that in detail. So here, how to gain this knowledge, Krishna is talking, right? So that is by Shravanam. By listening only, you can know about this knowledge. So by listening also, knowledge through hearing, there are actually like different types here. Like one is ascending process, then we have the descending process also. So this ascending process, right, it actually flows from down to up, like from us to the top. But this process is full of defects. Why is Krishna saying this full process is full of defects? We'll understand in a while. And the science which is actually developed is actually based on this process. Because what the scientists are doing, they're actually believing in themselves, right? They're trying to actually invent something which is already there. Okay, so let's see further in detail about this process. So, but this scientific process, right, it works only to certain level because they're only discovering what has already exists. But we are saying that the science is imperfect because it is based on humans. Scientists are humans like us, right? But we humans have limitations. So what are the limitations? We'll see. So the limitations first is our senses are imperfect and limited. See, for example, now because it is daylight, you can see everything. But if you are put in a dark room, right, can you see anything? You should have light, right? Yeah. So that's, see, eyes are for seeing. Everyone has eyes. But in a dark room, can you see anything? It is complete dark, pitch dark. You cannot see anything, right? That is how limited our senses are. Yeah. And this senses can only perceive this matter. This, what is this? This is a gross body, right? This senses can only perceive what we can see or feel, right? And so because this knowledge is actually understood in this process by these humans who have the imperfect senses, this knowledge also will never be perfect. And this, based on this knowledge, can anyone see soul or God? No, right? But then by actually listening, Shravanam, by listening from a devotee, we can understand, we can know who is God, right? So our senses are so imperfect that we cannot perceive the soul or God. So that is why science is imperfect. And what is the second one? The second one is tendency to commit mistakes. Everyone will commit mistakes, right? Is there a person who say that I have never committed mistakes? No, we'll commit mistakes. It is like, to err is human, right? We will learn from our mistakes. We have to learn from our mistakes. And even if we take the example of scientists here, right? Every day new research, every year new research comes. Like you will be seeing in papers published, right? So once a person has published something, but after a year or so, if you see, the same thing was refuted by a previous one. So they say, no, this particular research is totally wrong. It is totally defect. And they say a new paper has been presented on that. And this scientists, see, they never even say sorry. They won't be even saying sorry for what they have done. They say, okay, it is all in the learning process and we are actually exploring things. Okay. And we have to believe that no one in this material world is perfect. We actually learn from our mistakes. And see, there are so many examples we can quote here. There is a recent example wherein, see, throughout India, right, in whichever state you go, like for example, if you take Kerala, right, they actually use coconut oil for cooking. And they have been using this from generations together. But recently, if you Google it, right, there is a researcher from Harvard University who said that coconut oil is not good for human consumption. It is not good for cooking and all. But these people in Kerala, they have been using this coconut oil from ages and they're active, healthy and happy. But these are the different defects we actually find in this model world. Even mustard oil, right? Mustard oil in different parts of India, in different states, they actually use for cooking. Some of them use for cooking. Some of them use for they use for pickles also. But US has actually, the FDA, they actually banned this mustard oil saying that it is not eligible for human consumption. So we can understand that science is that imperfect. And also here the third one is cheating propensity and illusion. We are so illusion. So this illusion energy also is from Krishna. Maya. Illusion means Maya. Maya also is an energy of Krishna only. We are so illusions. For example, if you see this apple, right, in the mirror, if you see what you'll think, it is a full apple. But then if you see the other side of it, you'll understand that it is not in full. There's so many instances where every day we get illusion with so many things. For example, see, you actually eat a lemon and immediately you eat an orange. Then how the orange will taste? It will be very sweet. Because you tasted the sour one, it will be sweet. But you just reverse that. Eat sugar and then taste orange. Then it will be sour. Okay, the same orange, when you actually ate after eating the lemon, it is so sweet. But after eating sugar, when you ate it, it is like sour. And like, for example, take very cold water, chilled water, and put your hand in that water, and then immediately take and put in the normal water. How you'll feel? You'll feel the normal water is very hot. But now put your hand in the hot water and then put your hand again in normal water. Then you'll feel that it is cold, right? Yeah, so that is how we are illusioned. And cheating propensity in so many places, everywhere. See, so many people are doing business, right? So they get raw materials for say 100, for example. But then they will add that cost, this cost and all. Maybe it will come finally for them for 125 or 130. But how much do they sell that for? They sell for double and triple the price. So that is cheating, right? So there is an actually German researcher actually who has researched and found out a particular medicine which actually can give to the patient during surgeries. So generally on surgeries, right, sometimes a patient's BP will be spiked actually. So to actually bring down that BP, he actually invented a medicine. But then what happened is that medicine, when people have taken that, it actually resulted in kidney failure. Then the government actually went and the government researched, and finally they said that this particular researcher who has given this, it is totally fraud. So if you actually go to Google and if you type a retraction watch, right, every day you'll see like how many papers are presented and how many papers are actually taken back because they are claiming that it is actually fake. Okay, so these are the four things which actually make this particular process of getting knowledge as imperfect. So what is the first one? Our senses are imperfect. We commit mistakes. We have cheating propensity and we are illusioned. So because of these four things, this process is actually defective. Okay, any question?
Mataji, I want to tell one thing.
Yes.
I saw somewhere that coriander and they all will be it will be dried now, Mataji. For
Yes, exactly.
They will mix something chemicals. And they will put in that. It will become like real
new one,
coriander.
fresh. Yeah, that is all cheating, right? That is cheating propensity. Yeah. So here we have a life lesson. If anyone wants to read, Akshaya, go ahead.
We are imperfect. Consult perfect source for life decision.
Very good. So what this life lesson is saying is we have to understand that our senses are very limited and we are imperfect. Nobody is perfect in this world. We are imperfect. So we have to consult a perfect source for any life decision. See, if you want to make any life decision, right, perfect source can be your parents, your teachers, your guru, your spiritual master, anyone. So when you wanted to take a life-changing decision, right, you have to consult your authority, the perfect source, okay, rather than actually taking your own decision and failing in that and learning from that. It is always good to learn from failures, but not like every decision I wanted to take. We should not have that attitude, okay? We should try to consult the perfect source for life decision. So Lord, we already discussed about so many incarnations in the last chapter also, right? So Lord and his incarnations are free from this imperfections. Lord is 100% perfect. See, some people, right, they will say when we actually talk about Bhagavad Gita or Krishna and everything, these people say, oh, you believe in God? Okay, then show me God, show me God. They keep asking, right? But if we see our day-to-day life, right, so many things, without even knowing them, we are investing so much of faith in them. But why can't we actually invest that there is God? Why can't we have faith in God? Okay, so let's understand that. So here you can see some pictures, right? So, for example, you take a doctor. See, every family, they might have doctors, but if you have some disease, or if you have to be operated, or if you have some illness, right? Every time you can't go to your family doctor, right? They might say stay in a different state. You cannot always go to them, right, for consultation. So you just go to your nearby doctor. If you are going for a surgery, or if you're going for illness, they actually give some tablets to you, right? They prescribe some medicine. But did we ever actually think that, okay, I don't know this doctor, he's giving me some medicine. Will this medicine actually cause danger to me? Did we ever think like that? No, right? Because we are ill, we just go to the doctor, he prescribes some medicine, and we actually take that medicine throughout the time period which is prescribed. That much of faith we have in a doctor. And let's see another example. So all of us go for haircut, right? Is there anyone who didn't go to a salon for haircut? They go, right? So maybe now it is COVID, so we don't go. But earlier we used to go to salon for haircut, right? See, in the salon, the barber will have a blade. He will have a scissor. Is the barber our friend? First time when we go to any barber, he's not our friend. Maybe because nearby our house, we'll go to that barber. But he has a blade, he has a scissor. Did we ever think this barber will cut my hair or he'll cut my neck? No, right? That much faith we have. Because we have to get our haircut done, we go to that barber happily. But we invest that faith. See, everyone might have traveled to different places, right? Maybe you have boarded a flight, or you might go in a train, you might go in a bus, right? So when you're actually purchasing an air ticket or a train ticket or bus ticket, did you ever go and ask the driver his, his driving license or his age? Everything you don't ask, right? You just go to the travel agency. You'll just have faith. You'll just Google, okay, this travel is okay. There are good reviews from this. You'll just go and book your ticket. But did you ever go and go to the driver and talk to him? Are you capable? Do you have a valid driving license? We never do that, right? Because we automatically invest faith there. Because you have to travel to a different destination, you automatically invest faith. Then why not we actually put faith in God? Why not we accept that there is God and he is the supreme person? See, let us take one more example here. When a child is born, after some time, he will come to know who is his father, right? Who he has to go and ask his father. Do we need to go and ask a scientist? So if you ask a scientist, what will the scientist do? The scientist will collect the DNA, then he will match, he'll see the colors, then they'll do so many permutations and combinations, and it will take years and ages to actually identify who the father is. But what we have to do, we just need to go and ask our mother, who is my father? She'll automatically give us the answer, right? Yeah, that's how simple it is. So these scriptures, this Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, these scriptures are like our mother. So once you actually understand, once you read the scriptures, once you listen the scriptures from a devotee, you will understand who is our father. Our scriptures, our mother will actually tell us who is the father. Who is the father? The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna. Yeah. So the other process, descending process. So descending process, we all actually know, right? We have been discussing in 4th chapter, 6th chapter, most of the chapters we have been discussing. Descending process is which comes from the top to the bottom to us in a parampara, bona fide parampara. It should come in a disciplinic succession. Okay, this process everyone knows.
Nature back the flint. In spirituals that has been
eroded.
It's a blur, mama.
Eroded. You cannot see it now?
Yes, ma'am. By the certain of abuse and exploitation.
Exploitation, yeah. So what we have to do now is we have to nurture back the faith and our scriptures. So I was telling scriptures are our mother. So we have to bring back the scriptures and we have to have faith in that, and we should know who our Father is. Okay, so we have to pass on this knowledge from us to the next generations. So today, if we don't nurture this faith in scriptures, right, after maybe like 2 or 3 generations, nobody will be knowing about what is Bhagavad Gita, what is Mahabharata, what is Ramayana. Today, if you actually Google what Ramayana and Mahabharata, it actually gives us mythology, but these are not mythology. This is history. This is the greatest knowledge. This is the greatest knowledge given by Lord Sri Krishna to us. This is the greatest knowledge which is given by Veda Vyasa to us. So we have to nurture back the faith in scripture so that we can pass on to the next generations. Okay? Yeah. So next. So this is the second section. We are done with the first section. So now second section, who want to recite this verse?
Bhumir apo nalo vyayu vayu kaham mano buddhir avecha
Kammano buddhirevacha
ahankara itiyam me vinna prakritir astada.
Ashtada, very good, yes. Translation.
Earth, water, fire, air,
Ether.
ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. All other these 8 constitute my separated material energies.
Very good. So in the second chapter, we already discussed about this, right? So if you see this beautiful picture here, the yellow part here is the soul. Okay, then afterwards we have the subtle body. Subtle body is made up of mind, intelligence, ego. And then the blue one, if you see, that is the gross body. So this gross body is made up of earth, water, fire, air, ether. So what is Krishna saying here? Krishna is saying that Bhumir apo nalo vayu kam mano buddhir ahankara. All these 8 elements are his material energies. That is apara prakriti. Material energy, that is the apara prakriti, is consisting of this 8 elements. So Krishna is saying that these 8 elements constitute my material energy. Okay. So next verse, who wanted to read it?
Aparamyam Itsitiva
Itasvanyam
Prakritim Vidhi Mi
Param
Jivi Bhuta
Jiva Bhuta
Mahabhavo Yayadyam Daryate Jagat.
Translation.
Besides this mind, our mind, Arjuna, there is another superior energy of mind which comprises the living
Entities
who are exploiting the resource of the material, this material in
inferior nature. Yeah. Okay, good. So what is Krishna talking about here? Krishna is saying besides these means those 8 elements. So we discussed about the 8 elements, right? The 5 gross elements and 3 subtle elements. Besides these 8 elements, there is another superior energy. What is the superior energy? That superior energy is the soul. He is saying that superior energy comprises of the living entities who are actually exploiting the resources of material nature. So here Krishna is saying that the soul is his spiritual energy. That is para prakriti. So this soul is Satchit Anand, right? So we all know that soul is Satchit Anand. So when we say soul is Satchit Anand, right? Some people, they actually what they say, okay, Krishna is Satchit Anand. We are also Satchit Anand. But what we have to understand here is the analogy which is given here is when you take a drop of water from the ocean, right? If you actually do an experiment with the drop of water and the ocean water, they actually, they will be qualitatively the same. But in terms of quantity, they actually differ. That is, the volume will differ, right? So Krishna, we are actually limited. In Sanskrit, it is called as Anu. But Krishna is unlimited. He is Vibhu. So we have to understand that we are limited and Krishna is unlimited. Okay? We are Anu. Krishna is Vibhu. So life lesson. Yeah, Rana?
We come from Krishna. We follow Krishna.
Very good. So what we understood in the previous verse, Krishna is saying that there is another superior energy of his, that is the soul. Okay. So we are coming from Krishna. When we come from Krishna, we have to follow Krishna. When we follow Krishna, right, then we will be situated in our original status. What is our original status? Original status is we have an eternal relationship with Krishna, but we actually forgot that relationship. So we have to follow Krishna to actually connect with Krishna, reunite with Krishna. Okay? Yeah. So this is very important verse. If anyone want to read.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Brinda, go ahead.
Matta parataram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya mayi sarvamidam prodam sutre manigana iva. O conqueror of wealth, there is no truth superior in me. Everything rests upon me as pearls and strung on thread.
Very good. Thank you. So this is very, very important verse, and I think you have learned this in SSP also. So what is Krishna saying here? Krishna is saying there is no truth superior to me. See, you know the pearl necklace, right? So when you see this particular picture here, you don't actually see the thread. But Krishna is saying he, just like the pearls are strung on the thread, everything is resting upon him. All the entire universe, this creation, everything is resting upon him. So because this universe is so perfect, it is because it is Krishna's creation. We have to understand that. See, for example, we have sunrise, right? So sunrise every day. Is there any day when the sun did not rise? No, right? That perfect is his creation. Did the sun ever tell, like, for example, sometimes if you want to go to school or office or anything, right? We might say, oh, today there's so much of traffic. Oh my God, this horrible traffic and all. But did the sun ever tell us, I got stuck up in traffic? No, right? It is actually everything is being done. The universe is so perfect because it is Krishna's creation. Krishna is saying that everything rests upon him. Okay. Just like the pearls are strung on a thread. So who wanted to read this life lesson?
Improve your vision by hearing to see the unseen.
Very good. So what is Krishna saying here is, no one can see God, but then we can see God. We can see the unseen by hearing, by doing Shravanam. So first verse itself, Krishna was saying, Tat Shruno, listen to me. O son of Pritha, listen to me. So we can improve our vision by hearing to see the unseen. So God cannot be seen with our material eyes. We early discussed, right? Our senses are so imperfect. With this imperfect senses, we cannot actually see God. But we can see God by hearing. Okay? Yeah. So here again we have a life lesson. Harshini?
Yes, ma'am. Life lesson first. Don't try to see God. Work in a way that God wants to see you.
Very good. Excellent. So what we have to understand here is, like you all are in school and some of them are in college, right? So in your school, maybe like there are 1,000 children. Okay. Yours is a big school and you have 1,000 children. Will the principal know all the 1,000 children? No, right? But if you do some exemplary work in your studies or in other activities, maybe like drawing, painting and all, then automatically principal will wanted to see you. See, if I want to see Narendra Modi, what I have to do? I have to take so many permissions. I have to know people who are very influential. I have to take letters from the politicians and all. But if we actually perform some exemplary work in the area which we are working on, he will actually call us to maybe to award us or give some certificate. So in the same way, we don't need to try to see God. We should work in such a way that God wants to see us and he will take us to his eternal abode. Okay, understood? This is applicable in our day-to-day, in our day-to-day activities, whatever we do. Okay, right? Okay. So here we have to understand there are multiple verses here which actually talk that Krishna is the essence of everything. So Krishna is saying that he is the taste of water. See, maybe you're so thirsty and you wanted to drink water. You are in a situation wherein you just need to drink water and you'll be happy about it. If someone comes and give you maybe a Coke or a juice or something, will you be happy? Just you need water to quench your thirst. So Krishna is saying, I am the taste of water. See, in water, we don't have we have super soul. Super soul is present everywhere. So super soul is a Paramatma. Paramatma is present everywhere. Because of that, water gets the taste. So Krishna is saying he is the taste of water. Then he is saying the light of the sun is me. See, if there is no light and if the sun is there any use of that? No, right? So Krishna is saying he is the light of the sun. And Krishna is saying, I am the ability in the man. See, each of us have our own capabilities. Some of them might be a very good singers. Some of them might be very good at academics. Some of them might be actually a good singers. So all these capabilities, Krishna is saying, it is because of me. All these abilities are coming from Krishna. And he's saying he is the sound in ether. And he's saying he is the intelligence of in all the intelligent people, he is saying the intelligence. So Krishna is the intelligent. Okay. And in verse 7.10, Krishna is saying, Bijam mam sarva bhutanam. Means Krishna is saying, he is the seed-giving father for all the existence. Okay. He is the seed-giving father for each and every existence in this world. Okay, understood? So we have to understand that Krishna is the essence of everything. So here we'll discuss about the story. So many times we'll think like we might do some activities and we might actually think, oh, I have done a smart job, that this we can think. But let's see the story. So there are like 4 children who are actually studying in college. So this particular kids, they have exam, but then they didn't actually come for the exam. They absconded from the exam. And after the exam, after 2 days, they actually came to the school. Then the teacher asked them, what happened? Why you didn't even come for the exam? That is important, right? Then these kids told, no, ma'am. Over the weekend, we actually went to one of our friends' house for a function. And while coming, we actually got very delayed because one of our car tires got punctured. Because of that, we couldn't get up in the morning. That's why we actually are not able to attend the exam. Then the teacher said, oh, is that, that's fine then. Okay, I'll conduct the exam for you again. Then these 4 children, right, they felt very happy. Why? Because one reason they felt happy is they could cheat the teacher very easily. And second reason is teacher said she will conduct the exam again. Then after a week or so, the teacher actually conducted the exam. And they were given a paper. 4 of them were given one paper. And the exam was so easy. And it is like MCQ. You are getting MCQs for the quiz, right? So one question was, what is your name? That is just a long text answer. And then the second question was, which tire got punctured? So 4 options were given. One is front right, front left, back right, back left. Then once these 4 children answered right, they actually each of them wrote 4 different answers. Okay, so it is understood that they have cheated the teacher. But what they thought, they are the smart of the smartest. But we have to understand that there always will be more intelligent people than us, more smarter people than us. Okay. So today in your school, you might be the topper, but then if you actually increase your purview, right, at the university level or at the state level or country level, they might be people who are topper than you or who are intelligent than you. So we should understand that Krishna is the greatest. Krishna has the ultimate intelligence. Okay. And there is one more story related to that here again. Today we have more stories, I think so. Are you okay with the stories, or do you want me to go ahead with the stories? Okay. Yeah. So this is like a handful of sweets. See, there's some gummy bears or handful of sweets. So this particular one father and her daughter, they actually went to a sweet shop. That sweet shop is that father's friend's sweet shop. So while going to that sweet shop, right, he took this his child, like a small, like 6-year-old child. Then that uncle, he actually liked this girl very much. He was talking to her. Oh, you're so sweet. Show me your hand. Open your hand so that I'll give you a handful of sweets. Then this girl, right, she was so hesitant. She was not even opening her hand. Then she was looking at her father. Her father said, that's okay. We know that uncle. You can take the sweets from that uncle. Show your hand. Then she was not even opening her hand. Then finally they asked her a couple of times, and finally what happened is that father actually showed the hand. Okay, I'll take the sweets on her behalf, and he took the sweets. After they actually came out of that shop, and while they're going, the father was asking, what happened to you today? Why are you not responding? Why is that you're not even answering to that uncle? You know that uncle, right? What is there? You could have taken sweets from him only, right? Then what this girl responded, you know how intelligent she is. She was saying, Daddy, if I actually open my hand for the sweets, right, I will get very little quantity. But then if you open your hand, I'll get more sweets, right? That's the reason she didn't open her hand. See how intelligent she is. So we have to understand that there is always someone better than us. Okay? Yeah. Next. Okay, I'll post the attendance now. You can mark your attendance. Yeah, mark your attendance. Okay, this is again a wonderful story which you'll all like. So, you know Tenali Rama, right? How many of you know Tenali Rama? Yeah, he's very intelligent, right? He is from Krishna Devaraya's kingdom. Okay, he's a minister in Krishna Devaraya's kingdom. So once what happened is to Krishna Devaraya's kingdom, a very saintly scholar has come. And this scholar, it seems, he read all the books which are present. And he actually came to Krishna Devaraya's kingdom for a debate. Okay. So he was saying, I can debate anyone. You can bring how much ever big scholars you have. I'll debate with everyone. Then what happened is this particular person who actually came, right, he debated each and every person in the kingdom, and he was saying like, oh, your kingdom only you have these many people, do you have anyone more? Bring them all, I will debate with them. Then Krishna Devaraya, he was very much depressed, and he thought like, what will happen to my kingdom? This person will actually go to the other kingdom and he'll say like, I defeated all the people from Sri Krishna Devaraya's kingdom. Then he called Tenali Ramakrishna and told the situation. Then what Tenali Ramakrishna did, right? He met that scholar, and he actually had a bag with him. Then Tenali Rama said, oh, I heard that about your glories. Now come for a debate with me. Then what Tenali Rama told us, do you know this book? Tilakashta Mahishi Bandhanam, we'll discuss about that. Then that saintly person asked, what is that book you just told? Then again Tenali Rama, Tilakashta Mahishi Bandhanam. Then this particular person, right, the saintly person, he was asking, what is the name you just told? Then Tenali Ramakrishna, what? You told you are a very good scholar and you don't even know about this book. You are asking me these many times. Then that scholar said, no. Please give me one more day time. I will actually explore this book and we'll have a debate tomorrow. Then Tenali Ramakrishna said, okay, we are granting you that permission. Then this fellow went to the his wherever he is living, right? He went and he was thinking, what person is this? I never even heard about this book, and he is actually even trying to show that book to me. he thought, no, this is not the right place, and he ran away from the kingdom. Then all these people will be there, right? The soldiers, they actually came to Sri Krishna Devaraya, and he told that scholar, he actually ran away from the kingdom. Then Sri Krishna Devaraya, he came to Tenala Rama and asked, what is that book? Why that fellow actually ran away listening to that book? Then Tenala Ram Krishna, he told, no, that is not a book at all. And he opened his bag and he took tila. He actually have that till, right? Till. He took that and cast. He has that cast. He had that sticks, tila sticks. Cast means sticks. He has that till sticks will be there, right? That sticks. And he has that cow dung with him. And bandhanam means that is a rope. That tila cast, the sticks and the cow dung are actually tied with the rope in his bag. So he just intelligently used that, and he told Tilakashta Mahisha Bandhanam. So he was actually trying to grab that book also. But that book wasn't there in his bag. But because he is very intelligent, he actually made that plan, and he made that scholar run away from the kingdom. So we should, even from this story, we can understand that there is always a better person, smarter person than us. Okay? Yeah. And now we come to the third section. So in this section, we will actually deal with who actually reject Krishna and who actually accept Krishna. Okay? Who wants to read this verse? Okay, Vishnu Priya. I think Krishna Priya read.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Namam Vishkriti no Mooda Prapadyante Naradama Maya Paradagnana Asuram Bhavamashita. Those who are grossly foolish, who are lowest among mankind, whose knowledge is stolen by illusion, and who partake of the atheist nature of demons, do not surrender unto me.
Very good. So here Krishna is talking about who actually reject Krishna. So we actually talked about Krishna's material energies. We talked about Krishna's spiritual energies. And in the previous chapters, we also discussed about Krishna's opulences. So in spite of Krishna having all these opulences and all the energies, there are some people who actually will not actually surrender onto Krishna. So Krishna is talking about those people who actually do not surrender. So first he is talking about Muda, then Naradama, then Maya Paharita, then Asuram Bhava Ashrita. We'll see who these people are. Okay. So first Krishna is talking about Muda, who are grossly foolish. So we actually learned about Ahara, Nidra, Bhayam, Maitunancha, right? So these people actually, they're no less than animals. What they do, they just get engrossed in these four things like eating, mating, sleeping, defending. Okay. And the second type of people are Naradama. Naradama means they're the lowest of the human beings. Why? Because they have no interest in anything. They don't believe in Vedas. They don't do any samskaras. Samskaras means like we have so many rituals to be performed, right? Right from the birth, we have so many rituals to be performed. Like you might know, like we have Namakarnam, we have Annaprasna. There are some of the rituals to be performed. So these people, right, they don't even believe in any of things. They don't even perform anything. Okay, the third type is Maya Paharita Gnana, deluded speculators. So these people they're scholarly, they know Vedas, but they don't even realize, they read Bhagavad Gita, but they don't even understand that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They actually don't believe the truth, which is not truth. They actually believe that. So these people are like, you can say they're not foolish. What do we say? Deluded speculators means they don't actually accept the truth. Okay. Then fourth type is Asurim Bhavam Ashrita. These are professed atheists. Means these people say that there is no God at all. We don't need to discuss about these people at all. They don't have belief in anything. They say there is no God. Okay, these are the four kinds of people. And don't worry if you don't even remember those words like Muda, Naradama and all. Just remember grossly foolish, lowest of mankind, deluded speculators and atheists. Okay. So here we'll discuss another story. So you can see a barber, right? So this barber, so once a person came to a barber and he got the haircut done. So during the conversation when he's having haircut with the barber, right? The barber says there is no God at all. If at all God is there, why people are suffering like this? Why some people are very rich and why some people are very poor and all? He'll be talking. Then this person, he actually gets the haircut and he'll actually go out. And after 10 minutes, again, he'll come to this barber. And he says, there is no barber at all. There is no barber at all. He'll be talking to this particular person, this barber. Then this barber, he'll be surprised. I just now did a haircut for you and you're saying that there is no barber. Then he says, no, if barbers are there, see, I just went outside. There are so many people who is having their beards are not shaved, their hair is not proper. And if barbers are there, why people will be very untidy like this? Their hairs are not cut properly. Their beard is not shaved. If the barber exists, then how people will be? No, there is no barber. There is no barber, he'll be saying. Then this barber will say, no, barber is there. But if those people, they don't come to me, what should I do? He'll say. Then this person says, exactly the same thing I wanted to convey you. If people don't come to the God, how will God actually save them? So we have to understand that when we say there is no God, we have to understand whether we are actually having that inclination to actually go to God, whether we have that inclination to actually read the scriptures we have, whether we have that inclination to actually associate with a devotee to understand who is God. Okay? So there is a life lesson here if anyone wants to read. Who didn't read so far?
If one has no time for spirituality, then he is busier than God intended him to be.
Very good. So from this, from the previous story and from this life lesson, what we can understand is, so many people will keep saying like, we don't have time, we are studying, we are working, we don't have time for spirituality. But we have to understand, if we don't have time for spirituality, then we are busier than God, what God intended us to be. See, we all know stopwatch, right? When we start the stopwatch, what happens? It will actually increase the time. It will start from 0, it will go on and on. But we have to understand that when we took birth, from that time, our stopwatch started. But then in a reverse way, the closer every second or minute or day or year passes by, we are getting closer to the death. So we have to understand that we actually have to use this opportunity, this human form of life which we got in this life, to actually do spirituality and balance our Swadharma and Sanatan Dharma. Okay? And there is one more life lesson if anyone wants to read. Who did not read? Yeah, Trai. Yes.
One, check which mode is active, divine or
Demoniac. Yeah. So we have to check, we have to keep checking ourselves. We have to police ourselves. We learned that life lesson, right? We have to police ourselves. So we have to check which mode is active, that is divine or demoniac. We always have to be watchful. We have to be thoughtful of our ideas. If it is the demonic idea, just erase it. Okay. If it is a divine idea, just go ahead with it. So we have to check our mode. Okay. Yeah. So next verse. So here we'll discuss about who actually accept Krishna. Okay. We discussed about the 4 people who actually reject Krishna. Now we are seeing who will accept Krishna. So Vanshika, do you want to read? Vanshika? Yeah. Yes, Vanshika. Are you there?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah. Read this.
Kaktur Vidam Bhajate Mam Jana
Sukritino
Srukritano Arjuna Arto Jijana
Jignasur
Jignasur Atari Jina
Jnani
Jnanika Bharata
Sabha. Translation.
O best among the Bharatas, for four kinds of patient men began to render devotional service unto me. The distressed and desire of wealth, the inquisitive, and he who is searching for knowledge of the Absolute.
Very good. So what is Krishna saying here? Krishna is talking about four types of people who actually accept Krishna. So Sukritino. So these four type of people are based on their Sukriti. So we always hear about the word Sukriti, right? Sukriti means based on our previous lives, pious activities which we have done. So what is Krishna saying? The four kinds of pious people are Arto, Jignasur, Artati, Gnani. These are the four types of people who actually come and accept Krishna. So who are these? We'll discuss. So Arto. So Krishna is saying here the distressed, then the desirer of wealth, the inquisitive, and he who is searching for the knowledge of Absolute. So now let's discuss about these four people. So here in the first picture you can see, right? So everyone know about this, Gajendra Moksha, right? So Arta. Arta means, see, Gajendra is actually caught by a crocodile in water. So he continued like this for 1,000 celestial years. This actually happened in higher planets. So 1,000 celestial years he was suffering. And then he actually remembered. So last chapter we discussed, right? Krishna actually gives the remembrance when you actually have done the destination of unsuccessful yogi. There we actually heard about this, right? So Krishna will give you that remembrance. So here like that, Gajendra remembered Krishna and he actually called for Krishna and he was rescued. That is Artha. The type of person Krishna is talking about is Artha, means during distress, when you are in total trouble, then you will actually call for the Lord. Then here in the second one, you can see Jignasu. Jignasu means inquisitive. Inquisitive means curious. One who is very curious about knowing about things. Okay, so here you can see Saunaka Rishi. So Saunaka Rishi, he actually heard Srimad Bhagavatam from Suta Goswami because he had so many questions. He is very curious to actually attain this knowledge. Okay, this is the type. So you can actually remember this by AJ. Okay, Artha, then Jignasu, AJ. And then we have again AJ. This is Artharti and Gnani. So first AJ is Artha, then Jignasu. And then Artharti and then Gnani. Okay, AJ. So who is Artharti? Artharti is a wealth seeker. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, we have the pastime of Dhruva Maharaj. So Dhruva Maharaj, he is a 5-year-old boy. And this Dhruva Maharaj, what happened is he wanted to sit on the lap of his father. Then his stepmother, what she said is, she was actually rejecting, saying that you don't have that qualification to actually sit on your father's lap. To actually gain that qualification, right, you have to take birth in my womb, then you will get that qualification. Then Dhruva Maharaj, he was very upset, he got very angry and he ran to his mother and asked, Mother, I wanted to be the wealthiest person in this world. I want to be wealthier than Brahma. Then what happens is, the mother says, whom do I actually contact to become that wealthier? I want to become wealthier than my father. I want to become wealthier than Brahma. Then his mother actually suggests you have to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then he goes to the forest. There he actually gets the association of Narada Muni and he actually does lot of meditation and all. And finally, he actually becomes the more wealthier person. But then he attained Vaikuntha. That is a different thing. He became a pure devotee. So this is the Artati type of person. Okay, wealth seeker. And the fourth is Gnani. So far we discussed the three people, right? These three people were wanting something. So one is very distressed because he did not have any option. He's in trouble. This person actually came to Krishna. Then the second person, so we discussed about Jignasu because he is very curious. He wanted to know more things. He came. And the third person is Artharti. Artharti is wealth seeker. And the fourth is Gnani. Gnani is, here we can take the example of Sukadeva Goswami. So Sukadeva Goswami is the most celebrated speaker of Srimad Bhagavatam. He actually spoke Srimad Bhagavatam to whom? He spoke to Parikshit Maharaj. Okay, he is a very wise person and he already know about the knowledge of soul. He has not lot. He's a liberated soul basically. Like he is the son of Sukadeva Goswami is the son of Vedavyasa. So he was there in his mother's womb for quite a long time because he was not wanting to come out. Because he know about this material world and everything, he doesn't want to come out. But then because his mother is having problem, he finally came out. And as soon as he took birth, right, he actually walked and went into the forest. So we will get a doubt how a small baby can actually walk after taking birth. But he is very divine, wherein he actually walked to the forest, and there his father Vedavyasa, he actually made an arrangement wherein he actually would read a particular verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. And then he actually from Gnani, he actually became a great devotee of the Lord. So these are the 4 types of people, AJ. Okay? Yeah. So now here again we have a life lesson if anyone wants to read. Yes, Siddharth.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, yes, go ahead.
All desire.
Yeah, very good. So whether you desire or you have no desire, always worship Krishna. See, whether you have desire or no desire, worship Krishna. Why we have to worship Krishna? Because if we worship Krishna, see, we already discussed, right? Like if we do some pious, if we do some activity towards Krishna, if you take 1 step towards Krishna, then he will take 100 steps towards us. So whether you desire or no desire, always worship Krishna. Okay. So now we have one more verse here if anyone wants to read. Yes, Brunda.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Bahunam Jananam Ante Jnanavan Mam
Prapadyante.
Vasudeva Sarvam Iti Samahatma Durlabham.
Very good.
Translation. After many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare.
Very good. So what is Krishna saying here? Bahunam Janmanam Ante, after many births and deaths, who is actually surrenders to me? Means Krishna, knowing me as a cause of all causes, such a great soul is very rare. This we can understand from our Kids Gurukul group itself. See, there are like 125 people, nearly 125 people who have joined the call. But how many are actually joining these classes? So coming to Krishna, being a Krishna devotee is very rare. That is what Krishna is saying here. So here let's discuss a story. So all of you know again Akbar Birbal stories, right? So this is a pot of wheat. Okay, so one time what happened is Akbar, he actually got very angry on Birbal and he actually said, how can you actually commit that mistake? I'm not even, I don't want even to see your face. Just get out of my kingdom. So Birbal actually went away from him. So like 2 days passed, 3 days passed. Then Birbal was, Akbar was actually feeling so lonely. He thought like maybe I have done a mistake. I shouldn't actually have sent Birbal outside like that. Now I have to take my own decisions. If Birbal was there, he used to guide me a lot and all he was thinking. So he actually asked his ministers to actually go to the nearby places and see if Birbal was there. But then they couldn't find Birbal anywhere. So what this king did is he announced in his kingdom, he announced like from each village actually they have to actually give a pot of wheat. So what is wheat? Wheat is like intelligence. Nobody can give an intelligence like in a pot. Can anyone give intelligence in a pot? No, right? So Akbar was asking for a pot of wheat because he knows that Birbal is very intelligent. Birbal will do something out of it. So he said, I want a pot of wheat. if a particular village is not able to give that wheat, right, wheat of the pot of wheat, then they have to fill jewels in that pot and give. So this news went across to all the villagers, and all the villagers were the village heads will be there, right? They're very much worried. How can we actually give that pot of wheat? If we cannot give that pot of wheat, how can we actually give jewels to them? They were so worried. Then in this particular village where Birbal is there, right? The village head, he actually conducted a meeting. Then Birbal also came to that meeting. Then they were discussing how can we actually give that pot of wheat. Then Birbal said, bring one pot. So what he made is, in that pot, he actually put a seed of watermelon. You all know watermelon, right? He put a seed of watermelon and he actually put some mud, and he actually gave all the necessary ingredients for the watermelon to grow in that pot. So after some days, like 10 days or something, that watermelon actually grew up in that pot. Now Birbal actually brought that to that village head and said, now you go and give it to the king, saying that this is a pot of wheat. Then this village head, he actually went to the king and he said, my dear king, take this pot of wheat. Then he said, this pot of wheat is there in this pot. You should actually take that wheat outside without breaking the pot. See, without breaking the pot, can we actually take out that watermelon? Without taking out watermelon, he cannot take the intelligence out. Then Akbar understood that, okay, this might be the idea of Birbal. So Birbal is there in this village. Then he called that village head and he said, who is that person who actually gave you this pot of wheat? Then they identified Birbal. Then the king said, I'm very sorry for that. See, this was announced in the kingdom and there were so many villages. Nobody were actually able to fulfill this. But then Birbal intelligently fulfilled this. So what we can understand that intelligent people are rare, in the same way devotees are also very rare. Okay, understood? Now we have the last section of today. What is the last section? Last section is, in spite of knowing all energies of Krishna, in spite of knowing about all the opulences of Krishna, there are some people who actually worship other Devadas. So let's see why people actually worship other Devadas. So who want to read this verse? No, right? Okay. Mahati. Yes, Mahati.
prapadyante devata tam niyamam astaya niyata svaya. Those whose intelligence has been stolen by material desires surrender unto demigods and follow the particular rules and regulations of worship according to their own natures.
Very good. So what is Krishna saying here? Krishna is saying those whose intelligence has been stolen by material nature. So material nature, we know that there are a lot of imperfections here, like we have imperfect senses, we'll be actually governed by the three modes of material nature. So based on this, what Krishna is saying here is they actually worship the demigods and they follow the rules to actually satisfy the demigods according to their nature. So again, there is one more verse. After reading this, then we will actually go with more description of this verse. So who wants to read this verse?
Antavattu palam tesam tadbhavatya alpamadesam medasam devan deva yajoyanti madbhaktayanti mamapi. Translation: men of small intelligence worship the demigods, and their fruit are limited and temporary. Those who worship the demigods go to the planets of the demigods, but my devotees ultimately reach my supreme planet.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Akshay. So what is Krishna saying here is, he's saying that men of small intelligence. Why Krishna said men of small intelligence? We'll see. they are saying men of small intelligence worship the Devatas because the fruits of that Devatas are limited and temporary. So what is Krishna saying here? When we worship the demigods, the results are temporary and their planets are itself temporary. So for example, like your parents or their parents, they might be worshipping, for example, they might be worshipping Sai Baba. So many people towards Andhra and all, they actually worship Sai Baba, right? They actually get it from their parents, they actually get it. So to understand that, we'll discuss about a story. So there is a car driver. Okay, that car driver actually once he actually boarded a passenger, and this passenger has to go to Kennedy F airport. There's a big airport in US, right? He wanted to go to that airport, so he boarded this car. Then this particular passenger who actually sat in that car, right? He knows that routes, he knows US very well, and he thought like he might take that driver in a shortcut so that they might avoid the traffic. So what this passenger did is he just tapped on the driver's shoulder. Immediately on tapping the shoulder, right, what this driver did is he was very much afraid. He was very much distressed, and what he was doing is he was driving in wrong direction. He was actually going in a different direction and all. He was about to actually bash to a different car. Then the passenger actually got very afraid, and he actually tapped and he screamed at the driver saying that just stop the car now. Then the driver stopped the car, and they actually came out of the car. The driver came out of the car. The passenger also came out of the car, and the passenger went and inquired to the driver, what happened? I just tapped on your shoulder to actually say to go in a different direction so that we can reach the destination in advance without avoiding the traffic. Then you know what the driver was telling? The driver was telling, for 20 years, I was actually a mortuary driver. And in this week, actually, I took a normal car. I become a normal car driver. So when this person tapped from behind, right, because he was so much used to the mortuary driver. So in his mortuary driving car, always there used to be a dead body behind. Even now, he is a normal driver. When a person tapped from behind, right, he thought that dead body got up and he was actually tapping on his back. So we are so tuned in such a way that whatever we get from our parents or grandparents, we think that it is correct. But then Krishna only told, right, during this parampara system, the chain has been broken because of unscrupulous people, because they were talking everything wrong about the scriptures and all. So what we have to understand here is, however we are tuned from generations together, when we actually read Bhagavad Gita, we have to realize that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So now let's understand why these people actually worship other Devatas. So there is nothing wrong in worshipping other Devatas, but we should not actually go to the Devatas having some material desires. Okay. So we have to worship Devatas, asking them to actually help us to actually go out from this material world. So why these people actually do this Devata worship? Because they have lot of material desires. And Krishna is saying that they are less intelligent. Okay. So what is the result? The result is limited. See, for example, you might have been seeing people who actually have so many problems. One problem after the other, one problem after the other. Maybe health, it might be health or education or business. There might be business loss, and they actually start a new business. Again, they might see loss. So you might be seeing people who actually have seen so many distressful situations in their life. So during that point of time, what they do is they will actually come to know about some demigods and Devatas. They actually worship to that Devata. But these Devatas, they actually cannot erase off our karma. They only can transfer that karma from this birth to maybe next life. Only Krishna can erase our karma. So we have to understand that the Devatas worship, they are limited, and the results also are temporary. and whoever worship these Devadas, right, they actually go to the planets of the demigod. But then when we have this annihilation, right, ultimate devastation, then even this Devadas planets will be wiped off. Okay. So now we have a life lesson here if anyone wants to read. Who haven't read so far? Let me call someone who haven't read. Sri Shagana, are you there?
Yes.
Yes, go. Yes.
Okay. Life lesson 9. Let's not get caught only with these desires and get frustrated. Focus on permanent happiness which comes from serving the Supreme.
Very good. Yeah. So what is Krishna saying here is we should not get caught by this material desires and get frustrated. We have to aim at getting the permanent happiness, and this permanent happiness we actually get by serving the Supreme. Okay. So we have to worship the Lord, we have to serve the Lord, and then we get eternal happiness. So we have one more verse. This is one again very important verse if anyone wants to read. Anyone who haven't read it so far? No one? Okay. Yeah, Siri came, I think so. Where is Siri? I just saw.
इच्छा द्वेषा समुत्थेन द्वन्द्वमोहेन भारत सर्वभूतानि सम्मोहं सर्गे यान्ति परन्तप.
Translation, Siri.
Yes, Mataji. O son of Bharata, O conqueror of the foe, all living entities are born into delusion, bewildered by dualities arisen from desire and hate.
Very good. So what is Krishna saying here? Two important words we have to understand here. Ichcha, Dvesha. So Krishna is saying that all living entities are born into delusion, bewildered by dualities of desire and hate. That is Ichcha, Dvesha. So our entire life, if we see, right, if we actually look back into our life, this entire life is actually ruled by Ichcha, Dvesha. See, we have a desire for something today. Tomorrow, I might not like it. Maybe we actually bought a brand new dress, a fashion dress last year, and now we don't like it because it is out of fashion. So like that, the entire life is actually ruled by this Ichcha, Dvesha. So we might like something today, tomorrow we might not like. So you say like, I like it, and tomorrow I might say, I don't like it. So this is how our illusion is being covered. Okay, based on our Ichcha and Dvesha. So here again, we have a very wonderful verse if anyone want to read. Okay. Harshini, you want to read? Yes, Harshini.
Yes, ma'am. Esham tattvante gattam papam.
Jananam
punya karmanam. Te dantva dandva moha nirmukta. Bhajante mam dadravatraha.
Tradavartaha.
Translation: persons who have acted piously in previous lives and in this life there was sinful actions are completely eradicated are freed from dualities of delusion and engage themselves in my service with determination.
Very good. Determination. So what is Krishna saying here? Krishna is talking about who can do determined bhakti, who can become a bhakta. So Krishna is saying here, persons who have acted pious activities. So in your previous life, who has done very good activities and who is devoid of the sin, are completely eradicated. So we saw about the dualities, right? So what are the dualities we have? Like we have like good, bad. We have so many dualities in this material world, right? Like we talked about Ichcha, Dvesha. So yesterday I might like it, today I might not like it. So we have all this Ichcha, Dvesha, all these dualities. So what is Krishna saying here? Who has done pious activities, like good activities, who have done good things and who is devoid of sin, they actually come to Krishna. and they do bhakti with determination. How actually this person will actually be associated with Krishna? Because they will actually get interacted with a devotee, and that devotee will actually introduce him or her to Krishna. With association of devotees, ultimately they come to Krishna. They will get to know about this knowledge. Okay. So here again we have a life lesson. Vanshika?
Yes, Mataji. Forget the past. Begin whatever you are.
Wherever.
Wherever you are. It's never too late for a spiritual journey back home.
Very good. So this is the final life lesson we have in this chapter. So what is the life lesson about? Forget what we have done so far, and today begin from wherever you are. It's never too late for a spiritual journey back home. So we have this saying, right? Like do or die. Do or die, right? That is the old saying. We have to do before we die. At least before we die, we have to realize that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We have to chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra so that we can, our journey to the Godhead, back to Godhead will become easy. Okay, that is the life lesson here. So we are done with this chapter. It is actually a small chapter. That's why we finished quickly. We'll just do a overview and we'll close the session. So what first Krishna started in this chapter is knowledge through hearing. In the first 3 verses, he was talking about the different processes, like ascending process. Ascending process is defective because we talked about 4 limitations of living beings. What are the 4 limitations? Our senses are imperfect. We might commit mistakes, and we have cheating propensity, and we discussed we are illusion. Okay, these are the 4. So this ascending process is defective. And descending process. What is the descending process we discussed? Descending process is it should come in a disciplining succession. Okay, in a bona fide parampara. That is authoritative. And then in the second section, we discussed about Krishna's energies. So Krishna is the essence of everything. So here we discussed about Krishna's energies. That is Apara Prakriti. Apara Prakriti means material energy. Para Prakriti. Material energies constitute those 8 elements. And then Para Prakriti. Para Prakriti means it is a spiritual energy, and that includes the soul. Okay. And then we discussed in the third section on who are the people who actually surrender to Krishna, who don't surrender to Krishna, who reject Krishna. Who reject Krishna? We discussed about grossly foolish people, the lowest of mankind, then deluded speculators and professed atheists. Okay, and who actually accept Krishna? We discussed about that AJ, right? Artha means the distress. Then we have the desirer of wealth, we have the inquisitive, and one searching for absolute truth. So out of all these 4, Gnani is the best because he is not looking for any benefit. Without any benefit, he actually want to discuss, he actually wanted to know who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Gnani is the best out of the 4 people who actually accept Krishna. And then in the 4th section, we discussed about worship of Devadas. Why people worship Devadas? Because they actually have so many desires, and Krishna is saying that because they are less intelligent. And what are the results? The results will be limited and temporary. And they actually go to the planets of the demigods, and they are also temporary. The planets also temporary. And finally, Krishna was talking about who can become a determined bhakta. So who can become a determined bhakta? A person who actually is doing good activities, like he has some pious activities done. We actually discussed about karma, right? So who has done pious activities in their previous births and who is devoid of the sins, they will actually become determined in bhakti. Okay, yeah. So this is the end of this particular chapter, chapter 7, knowledge of the absolute. Hare Krishna. Grandhrat Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.